Hello, I'm County Councillor Richard Boyles. I'm the Cabinet Member for Children and Families at Gloucestershire County Council. Here at Gloucestershire, we've recently hosted a visiting team from the Ofsted Inspection Service, and they've had a thorough look at children's services and our frontline performance in delivering children's services at Gloucestershire County Council. So during that inspection, they visited our frontline teams and spoke to staff and inspected case files concerning children's care. We have delays in seeing children, and our management practices are not sufficient to protect children who are coming into our care. However, as I've mentioned, there has been improvements. Our quality assurance framework is improving, and it's improving outcomes for children, which is one of the most important things. Ofsted have recognised that staff morale has improved and there's a better management of caseloads in our frontline teams. Managers now have access to all the information that they need to properly assess the work across the service and across the parts of the service that they manage with their staff. Our core problem now is practice. We need to improve the way our staff work. We have two variable response to assessing risk, and we need to enforce where good work takes place and upskill staff so they can properly protect children in Gloucestershire. There is still further work to do with our partners to ensure that the whole system is effectively safeguarding children. Ofsted have said that we now have the foundations necessary to improve, and that we do recognise the journey that we're on and the changes that we have to make. We need to deliver consistency in all of our social work teams so that we can deliver a child-centred and timely service to children and make sure they get the help and protection that they need. We have a new Director of Children's Services who's coming to Gloucestershire, and that's Chris Spencer, who's joining us from Harrow. There is a new budget in place this year, and we now have a total spend in children's services of 73.7 million, which is a budget rise of 16.2 million, of which 5.1 million of that is going into vulnerable children.
So in conclusion, what does our latest monitoring visit tell us? In some areas of the service, social workers do not have the right level of skill and experience. The way we support and direct our staff to deliver good social work needs to improve. The quality of our casework hasn't improved enough. We and our partners are not properly assessing risk. Financial investment and additional resources are too recent, and the pace of change remains too slow. What are we doing to improve things? Council are to approve a further 16.2 million in the budget next week. We have appointed a new Director of Children's Services, Chris Spencer, who will join us in March. We have recruited more qualified and experienced social workers. We have better technology, including smartphones and laptops. We have improved how we monitor the quality of our work. Staff morale has improved. And one front door, reducing drift and delay and improving work with other agencies.